Today's video is going to be about offensive Fuecoco. And before we get into the battles, I want to go over the team a bit. It's been a while since we've done one of these team breakdowns at the beginning of a video, but I wanted to do that today because I put a lot of time and effort into this team. And I want to talk about why certain Pokemon are the way they are on this team and how we got here. So I wanted to use offensive Fuecoco, and I think that defensive Fuecoco is an okay mon as well. But I think that offensive Fuecoco has its own use case scenarios where the defensive one wouldn't be able to work. And defensive one can often just get trapped by Diglett and then die. So I think that the offensive one is not a bad option. So Flame Charge plus 14 speed is enough to outspeed the fastest Pokemon in the tier without a Choice Scarf, because that base 20 speed tier is reserved for Diglett and Voltorb, and you outspeed that at 21 speed because you have 14 base speed. So that does require max investment, but I think that that is still warranted. After 2 speed boosts, you'll outspeed all the Scarfers as well. So I think that Fuecoco is a pretty decent once you get a +1 speed. Now let's talk about the rest of the moves that we can have. So we could run a mixed set in theory, but I think full physical works in this case because all of the coverage that Fuecoco wants is on the physical side. So you can run Seed Bomb, and Seed Bomb has the benefit of covering both the water types and the ground types. So if Mudbray wants to come in on you, that's fine. You are unaware. Because you are unaware Fuecoco, Mudbray's stamina does not matter to you. And after a Flame Charge, you 2 a KO with Seed Bomb. And if you Terastallize, you won't take very much from Earthquake. So you do check Mudbray in that scenario. There are scenarios where Mudbray can beat you, especially if you don't have your Terra. But if you do have your Terra, Mudbray isn't really too much of a problem. Stomping Tantrum is also quite good for Magnemite. Now, a lot of Magnemites are running Choice Scarf, but if you can just absorb a Flash Cannon or a Thunderbolt, or if you're already speed boosted 2 times, you will outspeed and one-shot Magnemite with Stomping Tantrum, which is quite nice. Finally, you can run Flare Blitz. Now in this last move slot, you can run a few different things. You can run Slack Off, which is nice for outplaying Sucker Punches from Pawnyard and for just having general reliable recovery. But what I found with this particular set is that you don't really have the opportunity or time in most instances to get a heal off. And this particular Fuecoco is very unbulky, and so you're not taking hits particularly well. So I found that it's not really that opportune to run Slack Off. Additionally, you could run Crunch here. I started off running Crunch. Crunch was there to hit Ghastly, especially Eviolite Ghastly, because it didn't die to a lot of other hits. But Flare Blitz, I think, is the most important move you can have on this set, because if you don't have it, then you have a 50 base power move, you have an 80 and a 75 base power move, and if you have Crunch, another 80 base power move. And none of them are doing any damage. You need a stab option that's very powerful, and Flare Blitz will give you that. So this will actually allow you to do damage to Pokemon, and I think it's pretty important to have it on there. So this is the Fuecoco moveset. Let's move on to the rest of the team. This is my favorite Diglett set currently. It has been for some time. Earthquake and Rock Blast are the 2 most important moves to have on a Diglett, and basically all Diglett run them. You can run Substitute or Protect, but I do like Protect, and I always have. Because it helps deal with Meowth and Fake Out and First Impression from Nimble, and then because they're trapped, you can kill them with Rock Blast or Earthquake because of your Life Orb, and you don't die to Faint or Sucker Punch from full. So I really do like this Trapper Diglett. I never leave home without it. And then finally, in this last slot, we're going to run Terra Blast Ice for the Fungus, not for the Fungus, although it does hit Fungus too, or the Toadschool, and that one shots Toadschool. And the team doesn't really like Toadschool besides that. So that's pretty important. Although I will say that Terastallized Fuecoco does beat Toadschool 1v1 as well. Alright, Crabrawler used to be Mankey on this team. I wanted to try out a Choice Scarf Mankey, but right now Ghastly is the best Pokemon in Little Cup, and Mankey really struggles with Ghastly. So I decided to go with the other best fighting type, which is Crabrawler. You can run Ice Punch and Thunder Punch, and Thunder Punch is quite good, but I've been running Zen Headbutt instead of Thunder Punch. You still need Ice Punch, you always have to have it. But Zen Headbutt is decent for Ghastly specifically, and also hits things like Marini and Fungus, which you would need otherwise. So this isn't too bad of a set. The Crabrawler also does better against Pokemon like Pawniard, where Mankey doesn't get recovery. Crabrawler can get recovery and can do decently. A lot of them have been Terra Ghosting, and that does hurt Crabrawler a little bit, but then you have a better opportunity with Zorua to kill them. So there's that one. Also with Terra Fire so that we can dodge Will-O-Wisps from Ghastly and then kill them with Zen Headbutt. And that's about it for that. Next up, this is probably one of the more popular Ghastly sets running around on the ladder right now. You've got Hex, Sludge Bomb, Will-O-Wisp, and then the last move slot you can run Terra Blast Fighting. But I don't want to do that. I want to run Substitute. That allows us to better outplay switches, and it allows us to deal with Sucker Punch a bit better on Pawniard, especially if they Terastallize into something that's a little more annoying. Then finally, Terra Dark, I want to talk about that. So Terra Dark was once the more popular option for things like Girafarig, apparently. But the thing is, even though a lot of people have been moving away from Terra Dark, I still want Terra Dark so that I can deal with opposing ghost types, and I can deal with Psychic at the same time. So if I Terastallize into a fighting type, if you're going to go for a Psychic move against me, that's super effective into super effective. I can be immune to the Psychic types and deal with the ghost types. And there's still enough of them that give this team problems that I want that Terra Dark. And I don't have a Terra Blast on this set, so having a defensive Terra type isn't too bad. Next up, we got Zorua. This is standard Scarf Zorua. And before, when I had a Scarf Mankey, this Zorua was an EVLI one with Sucker Punch. And I really liked that because Sucker Punch gave me priority, and this team does not have any priority. But because I got rid of the Mankey, I needed a Scarfer, so the Zorua became a Scarfer instead. And finally, we got Quaxly. This is the standard Quaxly everybody's been running. We've gotten rid of Brave Bird and put on Encore. It helps lock in a lot of people going for annoying moves. I haven't quite gotten the hang of when to Encore and when to do other things, but well, we'll see if that comes into play today. Alright, so that's the team. I'll come back when I find a battle. Alright, we got a game. So it looks like our opponent has Sticky Web and Nimble. This means we're going to be running overtime with Diglett to try to trap both of these Pokemon. I can Rock Blast and kill both of them, usually as long as we hit and get... sometimes you can kill Surskit in 2 hits, sometimes it takes 3. And then besides that, the rest of the team can deal with as standard. Hopefully we don't see a lead Sprigatito, otherwise I'll be in trouble. The most annoying part about Zorua is you have to decide who to disguise it as every game. Really annoying. But I think I'm going to disguise it as Ghastly. That's usually what I end up disguising it as. Okay, so the lead Surskit as we hoped. And now if we can get a Rock Blast off, then we should be able to get a kill on the Surskit. Just check a rank. Okay, yeah, it looks like my opponent isn't the highest rank, so hopefully that'll mean we can get an easy win here. And we do get 3 hits. That's a pretty dirty roll there. But sometimes you need 3 hits on that, but we got 3. And we don't have any webs on my opponent's team. And they actually decide to donate Nimble as well. So they go for First Impression, and we are out of range of Sucker Punch. And they don't even go for a Sucker Punch. And there's a little... Is that a bulkier Nimble, or was that just a low roll? In any case, that looks like my opponent just forfeits. Okay, looks like we got a bit more of a serious game here. Cacnea is an interesting Pokemon. Sometimes they can put in work, sometimes it's really bad. Not a Pokemon I have really any interest in using, but we'll have to respect it all the same. I'm going to lead off with my Diglett again, just because it doesn't do too much in this game besides trap opposing Diglett and you know, win his speed tie hopefully. Deal maybe with Pawniard and trap Nimble. If they lead off with Ghastly, that'll be sad, but I could go into Fuecoco after protecting if they go for Will-O-Wisp, and if they go for Shadow Ball or something, then I'll know what they, hopefully I'll know what they are. They could be Choice Scarf, for instance. Okay, and then here, once again, I'm going to disguise as Ghastly. Okay, as they do go Pawniard here, I'm going to protect here first of all to see what they want to do. As they go for Stealth Rock, so that's a bit unfortunate. But sometimes they terastallize into a type and try to kill you turn 1. And so it's nice to be able to scout that kind of thing. I'm going to go into my Quaxley here and absorb the liquidation. And I'm going to go for my own liquidation. And they went into their Ghastly. This looks to be Choice Scarf, I believe. If I can kill it though, that'll be great. So at the loss of my Ghastly, I should have roosted there. That would have been smart. At the loss of my Quaxley and keeping up Stealth Rock, we have killed their Scarf Ghastly. So that's fine by me, I think. Now at this point, problem is they still have their Nimble. So that's a bit unfortunate. I don't really think they want to switch into Knockoff here. So I'm going to go for that. And they're not going to click Earthquake against Ghastly. And Ghastly is a generally used Pokemon to bring in against Diglett. Yeah, so I think that's fine. I still want to keep my Zorua around, so we are going to sack something here. And it's not going to be Fuecoco. I'm going to go into my Ghastly, I think. Because I'll eat a First Impression. Then I can Will-O-Wisp safely here on the Sucker Punch. And then I can go for a Substitute on the following play. Alright. So that was a pretty solid endgame, I would say. We didn't get to bring out Fuecoco, but the team did put in work still all the same. Alright. Looks like we got a real team. And this team that we're facing down has a couple of really unique Pokemon. It's got a Snover, which you don't see altogether that often. I'm not too concerned about the Snover. I think, in fact, this is a great game for Fuecoco. If we look at my opponent's team, they have a Steel type, a Grass type, a Steel type, and then Ghastly, which in most cases I can beat with Fuecoco. Grimer is a bit of an issue. I have noticed Grimer can a lot of times terastallize, live a hit from Diglett, and then get off an Ice Punch. I really don't want it to do that. And it has Sticky Hold, so you can't knock it off either. I'm going to lead off with Quaxley, I think. Try to prevent Stealth Rock from Tink if I can, or just start doing damage to everything. And if I can start doing some damage with Fuecoco by bringing in Snover, I will take that too. Once again, I'm going to disguise Zorua as Ghastly though. Yeah. Okay, so they do lead off with Grimer, that's good. So I'm just going to throw off a Liquidation here. You can only really switch into your Snover. And if you decide not to, that's okay with me. And I am going to go for the Roost here. They may not want to stay in, considering they literally have a couple of good options in the back. And the Grimer's defense is down. So that wouldn't really pay off for them. Now they can try to Thunder Wave here, but they may not want to. I'm actually going to go into Diglett now, because I think after that, you will want to get up to Stealth Rock or something. Looks like I was wrong. That's okay. We trapped their Tinkatinka and the Tinkatink is dead. That was one Pokemon that could have been a bit annoying with Thunder Wave, but I think this is fine. I'm going to go hard into my Fuecoco here. They may predict that and go for Earthquake. If they do, good play on their part. But they do go for Blizzard. Now I'm just going to Flame Charge. As they go into Grimer. Now all the Grimer can do is Shadow Sneak. I want to quickly check here, Fuecoco versus Grimer. See if Stomping Tantrum kills. 40 to 48. I'm actually going to go for Stomping Tantrum. Yeah, there we go. It just barely kills. So you can see that this Pokemon doesn't do a ton of damage. You definitely have to have the right matchup. But if you do have the right matchup, it's great. Okay. So now let's pull up Ghastly. If we look at Ghastly, if it's Life Orb, then it does 69 to 82. So we are in range of Life Orb Sludge Bomb. So I'm just going to Flare Blitz here, as they are Scarf. So if I had known that they were Scarf, then I could have, in theory, gone for the Flame Charge, but I didn't want to risk it. So now this Snover is probably feeling pretty comfortable. But you know what's feeling really comfortable is my Crabrawler here. Because I can just Ice Punch this. This dies to Ice Punch, this dies to Drain Punch, this dies to Drain Punch. Or at least lets me bulk up and then Drain Punch. So I think that is pretty decent. I'm going to actually go for bulk up here. They'll probably terrestrialize up into a flying type, but they don't have like a flying move to hit me with. So I can, and then they forfeited there, yeah. So you never go for the Drain Punch immediately into Pawnyard because they always terrestrialize into a ghost or a flying type. So you really need to have the bulk up in order to live their Iron Heads that they're inevitably going to start launching off. I think for the Brawler matchup, Ghost is way scarier because with flying, I can still hit you with Ice Punch, and yeah, I won't be getting health back, but I'm probably going to two-shot you. So I think Ghost is better for Pawnyard personally. Okay, so this team has some more scary options on it. First of all, we've got Glimmet, which is always a little bit of an issue. You never know quite how the Glimmet user is going to play itself. And they've got Satotl, which is decently bulky and can be annoying if I don't keep my Fuecoco around. Zorua and Ghastly always make for a good combo. And the Deerling have been running more of a Body Slam Zen Headbutt Trailblaze a lot more recently, but we'll see what they end up having. My Quaxley is pretty low value in this game, I would say, aside from its defensive role in dealing with Satotl. But it also needs to get off the Stealth Rock. So I'm willing to lead off with Zorua, and then I'm going to disguise it as Ghastly. And then on the Glimmet, then I would have you turned out into my Diglett or into my Quaxley. Since I let off with Satotl, that actually changes the dynamic a lot. Let's see. I was not expecting a Satotl lead. They were probably expecting a Diglett lead. If I terrestrialize into a fighting type, then I do not kill by any means. So I'm actually going to knock I'm going to U-turn here. So now they know that I'm disguised as Ghastly, but that's okay because I don't lose my Zorua and I can start playing around here with this. I'm gonna go for liquidation here. They almost certainly won't stay in. They should go Deerling always. If they go Tink-a-Tink, that's okay as well. Gonna Rapid Spin here first. Don't really know how much that gets me, but if I can start getting my speed back, that may help. Yeah, Rapid Spin again. Then after another Rapid Spin, I will outspeed this Tink-a-Tink. And if they kill me, that's okay, because I can go Diglett and kill them. So they got rid of my Quaxley, which is annoying. I won't be able to Rapid Spin away the Toxic Spikes. But besides dealing with Satotl, what does it do for me? Alright, Diglett time against Satotl. Rock Blast is 55 to 88%. Which, on 3 hits. And if I go for Terra Ice, then Ice Shard does not kill. I don't know though. Is that really a good play? I don't like that play. I like Fuecoco way better. Let's go Fuecoco here. They just go for Ice Shard. I think this is a much scarier play, and I can go for Flame Charge here. And Flame Charge with Glimmet is a really cool tech as well. We go for Liquidation. We can go all for another Flame Charge though. And Glimmet is another Pokemon that gets hit by Stomping Tantrum. So I mentioned Magnemite in the beginning of this video, but Glimmet also gets destroyed by Stomping Tantrum, like so. And they may expect that, they may know about that tech. But I think this is one of the better reasons to run Stomping Tantrum on Fuecoco. Yeah, Magnemite maybe usually outspeeds you, but after one speed boost on the expected Glimmet switch in, and you can kill it. Okay, well, once again, don't really know what this Ghastly wants to do, but I outspeed it. Oh, it's Sucker Punch, so that is the Zorua. That's fine then. I will go into my Brawler here. It cannot burn me with Ghastly, and it cannot paralyze me with Deerling. They can flinch me down, and that's about it. So they go into their Ghastly. Now I'm going to Zen Headbutt. They can Hex though, and that's definitely a problem. But now the Ghastly's dead. So, plus my Brawler, which I needed for Sotodle and Zorua, is also basically dead. Does this kill me? I guess it does. Okay, that's fine. At this point though, actually, check this out. So, Zorua, if I go back to that, Zorua, if I Terra Blast fighting against Sotodle, I do 66% minimum. That obviously dies. Against Zorua again, this is the set they're running, the pivot set. Terra Blast is a roll. Not a great roll though, because you can see that has 21 HP, and we only do 20. And then against Deerling, I don't think that'll kill either. U-turn is the better play always. Okay. Now, of course, they do know I'm not Ghastly if they're paying attention. This is obviously Zorua. Oh. Oops. I was looking at the wrong Pokemon there. Okay, that's fine. Ghastly it is. Oh, wow. Well, call it a prediction. Okay, I guess they knew I was Zorua and they went for Body Press. Body Press and Sotodle. That's not really a good move to go for, I don't think. Sludge Bomb is free here. And that kills Deerling. Wow. I can't believe they switched in their Deerling on a poison type. Don't do that, play, guys. Okay, now we got Zorua. And here I can go for the Terra Dark. And I can go for Will-O-Wisp. That'll dodge a Sucker Punch and mean I resist dark moves. It looks like they have more of a special or mixed set on their Zorua. That's fine though. Now I can just go for Sludge Bomb. That'll do a decent chunk. And they can U-turn out. Because they're burned, that does not do very much. And here I'll just Sludge Bomb again. Doesn't really matter. And I think Ghastly should just take this home at this point. So I'm glad I did not waste my Terra earlier in the game. Yeah, even if they kill my Ghastly here, which I think they may. Well, they don't. Oh yeah, because I resist Sucker Punch. Good. Then even if they had for some reason knocked me out, I would have had my own Zorua, which was healthy enough to deal with them. All right, to finish off the video, I wanted to actually take a replay from when I was testing. So I've been testing this team for quite some time, and I got a pretty decent game here against this guy, Art of Blah 00. I don't know who that actually is, but they're usually ranked in the 1400s, which is usually where I like to hang around. And so that means that they're decently good, because Little Cup ladder isn't particularly high. And this guy and we went back and forth a few times. I beat him sometimes, he beat me sometimes. But their team is pretty scary. They have Double Scarf in Magnemite and Larvesta. And I know this, again, because I've played them multiple times. So I knew more or less going in what their team was about. And of course, they knew what my team was about. So we had to play around what we knew from previous games. So leading off with Diglett in this matchup isn't particularly great because they can lead off with either of their Scarfers and mess me up. So I usually don't like to lead with Diglett in this case. I'm going to lead off with Quaxly here, as lead off with their Marini. Now I was thinking in this instance, alright, I'm a water type. There's no way you go for Chilling Water here. I can get in my Diglett and I can trap it on a Sludge Bomb, which I believe they had Sludge Bomb. But they actually do go for Chilling Water and I lose my Diglett turn 2, or turn 1. So that was a really bad play on my part. But now I can go Brawler and start bulking up. Even if they want to go for Chilling Water, lower my defense, that's okay. And I have Zen Headbutt, which is a KO on you guys, or on Marini, so they have to switch now. Knowing that they have to switch, I know that their play is going to be go into Larvesta because they can get a potential burn. And Larvesta, being a physical attacker and a choice Scarfer in this instance, I know that they can't really scare a Crabrawler. Normal defensive Larvesta could, because it would go for Will-O-Wisp. Of course, then I would just Terra Fire on it. But this particular Larvesta is choice Scarf. I just bulk up in its face. And so they're going to have to U-turn out. That doesn't really threaten me at all. And they go into Toad School. As I bulk up again. So now I'm +2 attack, +3 defense, and I can just Ice Punch you. Doesn't do anything. Their Toad School goes down. Magnemite is going to Volt Switch out, but I do live that. I know they're going to go into Grievard because they've done that multiple times. So I just Zen Headbutt again here. And I'm just going to try to weaken their Grievard as much as possible. One of the big weaknesses of this team is that it really struggles against Grievard. Grievard is a pretty decent physical wall in the tier, especially the Rest Sleep Talk sets, but this isn't that particular set. Here we've once again disguised our Zorua as Ghastly, so we're able to bait that and we can get a knockoff. Since I'm choice locked in, I can't go for Terra Fighting there. But now here's a good chance for me to go into Fuecoco. With the chip from before, I can actually Stomping Tantrum kill with a crit, so I will definitely take that. Here I can just go for a Flame Charge again, as I recall correctly. And now with a Flame Charge, I am pretty speedy, and what are you going to do against me? I actually have Speed the Larvesta, which is sort of funny to me, so it's a pretty slow Scarf Larvesta, which I suppose that makes sense. If you can have a slow Larvesta, a Scarf Larvesta, you still want to have some bulk for things like Mankey, and you want to get a slower U-turn than they have. I mean, you normally would, but I'm just saying, how many things are you going to outspeed that is Scarfers? Besides maybe like a Scarfroki? I think most Scarfers, like Sprigatito, Magnemite, which you would, I think, at best speed tie with. I guess a good use for Scarf Magnemite, but I guess they wanted to have a more bulky Scarf set, so they probably only hit like 21 or 22 speed. In any case, as you can see here, they Terrasilize into a fighting type, so when I go for Stomping Tantrum, it doesn't do too much. But even though we didn't kill the Scarf Magnemite, we did force a Terra out of them, which is great for me. Here I can go into my fighting type and call their switch into Zorua. Because this is in Pawniard, that was my Zorua, right? And they obviously knew that because I had taken the chip from Stealth Rock before. They knew this was Zorua. They're going to go into Pawniard on it. But then I tear into my fighting type and Terra Blast. This as well doesn't quite kill, but it gets it just in range to where Ghastly should be able to come in and kill it with just about anything. And so my opponent forfeits. And so again, this was a game where my opponent knew what my team was, I knew what their team was, and we had fought each other multiple times. I'm just going to show you one of the times where I won. But in this case, Fuecoco actually did quite a bit of work. It definitely helped that it got the crit on Marini, I will say. But being able to outspeed and kill the Larvesta was super important for this team. And threatening as well the Magnemite and the Pawniard. I think the Fuecoco actually doesn't have too bad of a matchup as long as you can get it positioned and as long as it has good teammates. Because as we saw today with some of the calcs on Fuecoco, it's a little bit weak. It doesn't have any way to set up itself. So you need to have Flare Blitz in order to threaten any real damage. That's something I learned after many games. I was like, I can't get these kills. I calced in 1v1 scenarios, and with the coverage, I should be able to kill a lot of stuff. But I'm not getting kills. Gotta have Flare Blitz. And besides that, you do struggle a little bit at times to get kills, and you don't have the same bulk as the defensive Fuecoco. But the Unaware can help you at times, especially against Mudbray. And I do think you have enough coverage that you actually are pretty decently annoying, especially with Terra Grass. So that was my Fuecoco team. I tested it over the past week. It's not the best team, of course, because it's got a Fuecoco on it. But I think it's decent for what it is. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I'll catch you guys next time.